Hello, governor. I'm back. More stuff done. Pop culture update number, whatever it is. Lots of games this time around because, as you know, I have lots of time in the start of my day, weekdays and early afternoon, and I've been playing a ton of games just to cut through the stack. But I do have one book as well, and we're going to start with that. And it was an awesome book. Another entry into the Aliens series called Aliens, Phalanx, or Phalanx. Phalanx? I'm still not sure how you pronounce it, but anyways, this story takes place on a world called Atagina, and the population there knows nothing of the outside world, of space travel, anything like that. They're almost locked in the Middle Age, or the Middle Ages, like castles and stuff like that. There's no technology really to speak of. It's very basic living, and the aliens are on that planet, and the people of Atagina have adapted, and there's different forts across the land, and they all hole up in these old castles that they keep safe from the aliens, which they call demons. And everybody in each fortification has their own kind of jobs and duties and stuff to keep the place safe and running, and so this story focuses on three runners: Leah, the lead runner of this little troop, Brandon, and Crean. Runners serve as teams that go from hold to hold and take medicine or food or news and exchange it with the other holds throughout the land. So runners it's a dangerous job. You're out there in the middle of the land, and aliens could get you at any time. They have various things to help them, like these hidey suits that help them blend into the natural surroundings. But it's a very dangerous job. So Leah actually loves it, but she wants to become a warrior. But in her castle area, that's not allowed. Women aren't able to become that. So she's kind of become a little bit disenfranchised, but still is proud to be a runner. However, on their latest run, they noticed the aliens' behavior is changing. Usually they were only out at night. Now they're starting to see them in the day, and they're creeping closer to their hold. As they do a couple more runs, they find some of the holds have fallen. There's aliens in them. They have their own experience with aliens, and Leah actually kills one and gains this big reputation as a demon killer. And in the process, they also find that these leaves that are really prevalent across Atagina can be used as a defense against the aliens' acid blood. The leaves just soak it right up. So it's this natural protection that makes this big difference all of a sudden, right? But when Leah brings news of the aliens' changes in behavior, of some of the other holds falling, of the leaves that help protect, the Margrave, the leader of her hold in Lemeth, is like, he kind of just discounts all of it. And well, those holds fell because of their bad beliefs and yada yada. And he puts off study on the leaves because he doesn't believe it's that important. So she becomes even more disenfranchised. And eventually the demons end up coming for her hold in Lemeth, and she has to rise to the occasion and lead her people against them in all the things she's learned while out in the land facing the demons, while in the hold speaking with one of its old generals, and they do little battle simulations against each other. And so she takes control and leads these people, and eventually with losing a lot of people but actually having some success in fighting it back against the demons with their primitive weapons, they decide to march on Black Smoke Mountain, where they believe the aliens live. That's their home base. And, naturally, with only spears and shields as their weapons, this is a big, big task set about them. But when they get to Black Smoke, they find a bit of a surprise waiting for them. And I just spit everywhere. And I don't want to go any further than that. But because the author of this put in the start, like, please don't tell anybody about this book. Spoilers are bad. So, spoiler alert, right? Awesome book. Okay, so the first of the games I completed for the PS2, Stuntman Ignition. I tried to play Stuntman, as you know, but the disc was scratched. It didn't work. In this one, you star as a stuntman who signs on to this movie, and you go through the 6 different scenes you have to shoot and get different star ratings. And as you gain stars, you unlock other movies that you can perform stunts in. And as you make your way through, you get up to the final movie. There's 6 movies in total, 6 scenes in each movie you have to complete, so about 36 levels. And like I said, you have to gain stars through your performance to unlock the next movie. So you do have to have a certain amount of competence in each scene to go right to the end. And the funny thing is that as you complete a movie, like you get a briefing from the director at first, and they're all these really whacked out guys, and so they really make fun of Hollywood and stuff in this game. And each movie is kind of a parody of a certain type of movie. So one of them's kind of like makes fun of like Dukes of Hazzard. One of them is like Batman kind of ripoff. So there's a lot of humor involved in it. And it's also a really fun game too. So the stunts are a lot of fun. It's really quick to play through because the stunts are only so long. So you can really, if you don't have a lot of time, you can just do a couple scenes here and there and pick away at it. And then there's also, on top of the 6 movies, there's like bonus gigs or something like that. So you just go out and do these odd jobs. And I think there's 6 of them there as well. So hopefully you can gain enough stars to make your way through all 6 movies. And when you do complete a movie in total, you get to see the movie trailer afterwards, during the trailer you see some of the scenes that you shot during your adventures, right? So very cool game, loved it. So sad I didn't get to play the first one, but this one sounds like it's a lot easier than the first one, so maybe it's a good thing I could not play the first one. Next up, first Ratchet and Clank game on the PS3 called Ratchet and Clank Future: Tools of Destruction. Ratchet and Clank start the game off on the planet Kerwin. They're fixing this hovercraft thing, hoverbike, when Captain Quark gets in touch with them and says, "I'm under attack at the headquarters," or whatever. So they go to help him and find all these troops attacking him, and they help Captain Quark out, and then eventually take off on this ship and end up in this other part of the galaxy. And the person behind this attack is Emperor Percival Tachyon, leader of the Kragmites. Nobody believes the Kragmites are real because nobody's ever seen one other than this guy. So they don't take him too seriously. But as Ratchet and Clank kind of track this guy down and try and stop him, they kind of get the feeling that, oh, maybe the Kragmites are real. And during their adventures, on the Clank side of things, he starts getting visited by these little alien beings called Zoni that only he can see. And they say he was built for a destiny, a purpose that he doesn't know yet. And they start granting him all these different abilities. On Clank's side, he starts learning. He meets up with this girl named, I forget her name. But this girl with her 2 generals, and she is the daughter of this famous explorer, Max Apogee. Talwyn Apogee, I think is her name. And through these adventures, they learn that the Kragmites and the Lombaxes were mortal enemies back in the day and had this great war. And it was believed the Kragmites were defeated, but they were actually warped away to this other galaxy or something like that using a Lombax device called the Dimensionator, which the Lombax then used to also seek refuge in another galaxy or system or whatever it is, leaving behind one lone Lombax to look over the Dimensionator and make sure it fell into no good hands, sort of thing, and it couldn't be used for evil. And this Lombax was actually Ratchet's dad. So Ratchet's dad actually fell eventually, and Ratchet was sent to the planet Veldin to be kind of hidden away and live a normal life. And that's where we first saw Ratchet on the planet Veldin in the very original Ratchet and Clank game, right? So it becomes this journey to track down the Dimensionator and hopefully bring the Lombaxes back at the same time defeating Emperor Tachyon. So, and then there's a lot of revelations and a bit of a cliffhanger ending to the game. That once you see all of the action through, and it's a really fun game. I love the weapon system in this one. Yeah, it's the same sort of thing, whereas the more you use a weapon, the faster it upgrades and becomes more powerful, yada yada, has a new incarnation. But you can also collect this substance called, what was it? Something that ends in "ite." And the more of that you gain, you can apply it to different aspects of an upgrade on each weapon and make them even more powerful, right? So you can really trick out the weapons you like the most and use the most even higher than normal. So really fun game. I haven't played a bad Ratchet and Clank game, but this one was really one of the tops for me anyways. Next up, I finally made my way through Gran Turismo Sport for the PS4. Long sledding with Gran Turismo because there's tons of races and tons of cars, right? But it's to me it's the best racing simulator out there. I've loved Gran Turismo right since the first 2 on the PS1, and I've played all of them right up to, through to this one. And they have the same sort of thing, the GT mode, where you play through all these different cups and series that have different requirements for car and whatever, and you gain trophies on them depending on your finishing place. So it has that standard mode, which is the most invested mode in the game, I guess. But then you can also do same old thing. You can do tests to get your license before you start racing. There's this one mode, Circuit Experience, where you break down each track into small sections and then eventually put it together into the whole thing to help you learn the track, and you get graded on each section, sort of thing. And then there was one other mode too that was similar to that. I forget what it was called, Story something or whatever. But so it's got a few good one-player modes that aren't online. But the big thing with Gran Turismo Sport is that the online mode was really pushed in this game, and it was a lot more in depth than I think there have been in the past, if they have had online modes in the past, which I believe they have on the PS3 and stuff. So so that was a really big push for Turismo Sport, which I didn't play because our connection sucks and I don't like waiting for that kind of stuff, whatever. So but it's just another great entry in the Turismo series. The graphics are amazing, gameplay is fantastic, so you can't go wrong with a Gran Turismo game. Next up, I don't have a copy of this because I downloaded it to my Nintendo Switch, but they recently, or maybe last year, I forget when it was, released an HD kind of update of an old Game Boy Advance title called Robotech, the Macross Saga. Robotech was one of my favorite cartoons growing up after G.I. Joe, Transformers, Voltron, Mask, all those things. It was kind of a space opera cartoon with a really developed storyline that was really intriguing. And it involved an alien race called the Zentradi attacking Earth, and then it just the long struggle between the two factions and all the soap opera that went on amongst it all. So this game is basically, it starts where the series starts and probably ends where the series ends. I don't exactly remember, but and it takes place across 10 levels that sees you fight in one of the Veritech fighters, and the Veritech fighters have 3 forms. It's like an F-15 or 18 or kind of looking jet from back in the 80s. And so it's got the jet mode, it can turn into a full robot, you got the robot mode, and then you got the kind of the half, where it's kind of like the jet at the front stays that way, but then the back comes down to be legs, so it's kind of like a weird walking thing. So you got those 3 modes you can flip between in each level, and it's like a side-scrolling space level, so it's just almost like Defender or not Galaxy, but you know, side-scrolling, but you're in space and you're fighting in a jet sort of thing. So there's 10 levels. Most of them are that side-scrolling kind of variety, but there are a couple where it's a top-down, which kind of reminds me of Contra, right? It's mostly side-scrolling, but then it gives you the odd top-down look, and you fight in one of the battle pods or whatever they are on the ground against the invading Zentradis. And so yeah, you make it through the 10 levels, you beat the game, you unlocked a new character. So I think there's 5 characters available at the start of the game, and there's 5 you can unlock. I unlocked 1 because I only beat it once, because this game is hard. It is a lot of fun, and it is short, but it's also long because it's so goddamn hard. So, but overall captures the spirit of Robotech, and it's just nice because there's not that much Robotech stuff out there, right? So it's just nice to have a little section of that universe available to you that's not the actual series, you know, something a little different that you can immerse yourself in within the whole Robotech lexicon, right? So really fun game, and it was really cheap to download on the Switch. So if you like that kind of game, if you like Robotech, I would recommend getting it. So that is all for now. I've already got a few more things queued up for the next round, so you should be seeing this ugly mug again in the near future. But until then, stay frosty.